so they take their name from that. Rock and or roll. When I wake in the morning, I open my eyes slightly to see the sun and know that this is going to be a beautiful day. I roll over and take an extra minute to stretch out and feel the downy fluff of my sheets. Let me tell you about my sheets. My sheets have a 1,000 thread count and took a few days to break in. These sheets feel like the lips of a million angels softly kissing your skin. And this is why I take that extra minute to stretch. This is how I know I'm truly still alive. In the bathroom, I brush my teeth. I use one of those fancy toothbrushes that feature bristles aligned in rows set at acute angles. The bristles have been cut to different lengths to provide a crenulated brushing surface. I'm not one of those people born with perfect teeth, nor am I averse to visiting the dentist, but my God, I think, what amazing advances mankind has produced in the simplest of daily dental practices. I scan my phone while I walk to work for any new emails or text messages. Steve is already at me about what a waste of time our morning stand-ups are, when everything we need to do today has been written in stone since we first started these jobs. It would be as if the Jesuits were required to meet for 20 minutes every morning to discuss the validity of the 10 Commandments, he writes. Steve emails me this complaint every morning. If you stand in Steve's cubicle silently, you can catch him mouthing quiet complaints to his manga figurines. He will pretend you didn't catch him, even if your smile betrays that you did. In the afternoon, I start chatting, instant messaging really, with Claire about the ridiculousness of our company's rebranding. It's pushing on to 3 o'clock and the sun is warm, the day's getting there. I'm lobbing digital bits of brilliance Claire-ward about comparing our company to a schizophrenic chameleon. In the course of our conversation, she begins to ha 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 and LOL so hard that she feeds my ego and gives me confidence. I cross the floor with my water bottle, peeking over all the cubicle half walls. I see this beautiful girl whose attire somehow balances fashion-forward hipsterdom with a corporate casual restraint. I watch her posture collapse as she clicks on our chat window with excitement to type me some reply. Back at my desk, I start a chain email proposing where the crew should head post-work. At the classy cocktail bar, I lean over the blue glass bar top and try to catch my reflection. This is impossible because the bar top is lit from beneath. Part of the allure of this place is all the glowing glass, and I don't really need to see myself to know how fucking amazing I look. Steve is nipping at a bottle of beer. Claire's under my arm sipping vodka soda through a straw. She's a sprightly little pixie, and I keep burying my nose in the top of her head when she says something funny. Even Mark and Sarah came out. I have the notion that we really need to start our own firm. I keep telling everyone that we have so much fucking talent. We're the backbone of the company. Why should they make all the money? When I wake in the morning, I open my eyes slightly to see the sun and know that this is going to be a beautiful day. Through my cracked open window, I hear some children walking past on their way to school. I always keep the window in my apartment slightly open so that the fresh air can circulate. I can't make out what the children are saying, but they are loud, and they scream, and I try to remember at what age I lost that joie de vivre. There's a slight smell of maple syrup circulating my room that I wish was originating in my kitchen. In the bathroom, I brush my teeth. I think about this artist I talked to 3 days ago. This artist works in resin, making slicked boards with all these embedded designs. His work is breathtaking, which is fitting because he's also one of the most breathtaking men I've ever seen. He's 6'2" and probably weighs 140 pounds. Some people, when you see them, you recognize these crazy alpha genes, and you realize that they and their ancestors have been swimming in a portion of the gene pool for which you and your normie ancestors were entirely excluded. But I wasn't talking to this beautiful man about how if I slept with him, I don't think I would be considered bi because his physicality transcends gender definition. We were talking about music, and this artist told me he listens to heavy adrenaline music. The adjective he used was animalistic. When he played his music, the speakers on his tiny stereo throbbed under the burden of bass and screaming. It made me think of creatine and cocaine. So that's what it takes to be beautiful. I scan my phone while I walk to work for any missed emails or text messages. Steve has messaged me that he doesn't need to stand for 20 minutes around the couches outside the break room while Marshall runs through the current strategies about how we can better align customer expectations with our performance. It would be as if the President of the United States were required to spend 20 minutes every morning being reminded that he was elected by the people, Steve writes. Steve is overweight, and I harbor this belief that he does not enjoy leaving his desk. In the afternoon, Claire and I message each other with giddy fingertips you find in preteens who pass notes during homeroom. All of the witticisms and hilarity have transformed into an escalation of daring transmissions. You're compared to second-guess yourself. Can I say that with every click of the send button? Like the verbiage in the preteen notes, our messages include a whole bunch of words like hunger, yearn, skin, silky, warmth. There are extensive descriptions of where lips should touch. My chest is being ripped apart by a million tiny hooks attached to threads tugged by ravenous moths. I stand from my desk. I cross the floor on the way to the kitchen to refill my water bottle. Claire has turned from her desk and is watching me. Her eyes are silver dollars. They are on fire. She has stepped up her apparel game to don a short skirt with lace stockings. I want to free her legs of clothes the way you chew the wrapper off a candy bar in a hurry. Back at my desk, I start a chain email proposing where the crew should head post-work. At the Polynesian-themed tiki bar, everyone dips his or her head over the flaming cauldron of juice and rum. Who knew drinking cocktails through rubber straws could be so fun? These drinks are particularly potent, but so fruity, even Steve deigns to sip a pina colada, like the team player I point at him and tell him he is. This is one of the finest tiki bars in the city, which means that the juices all come from juiced fruit in-house, and the syrups have been reduced on site. The room is crowded, and groups of happy hour revelers are laughing in a rum-fueled merriment. My hand keeps falling to Claire's lace-wrapped thighs. I demand everyone make special note of the movie Blue Hawaii silently playing on the television. It was the first Elvis in Hawaii movie and produced the classic song, Can't Help Falling in Love. I mean, do you guys understand how fucking perfect this choice of movies is? It's these details like these that we get, well, only we understand and appreciate. It's these details that keep us a cut above from the chaff. Why are we the corporate slave? When I wake in the morning, I open my eyes slightly to see the sun and light and feel its tender warmth. I feel it wash over my skin as if to wash my soul and purify my spirit. Morning is the most important time in the day. Let me tell you about my mornings. I make a point to wake up an extra hour before work. This is my hour. Sometimes I go for a jog, sometimes I stay in bed and stare at the ceiling. It is my time. In the bathroom, I brush my teeth. I spend an extra time examining the whiteness of my teeth and trying to determine whether I can watch my inevitable physical decline in the enamel's yellowing. I really should floss more, and not with that spindly, roughly hewn generic floss you buy off-brand, but with a satin tape that massages your every bicuspid's curvature. My dentist recommends flossing once a day, but is that really enough? I place all my healthcare providers in a folder I mark X-File and make a point to trust no one. I scan my phone while I walk to work for any new emails or text messages. Steve has emailed me, do you think doctors have to spend 20 minutes before surgery being reminded that a patient's life is in their hands? Oh, Steve. The aneurysm in Steve's head that will explode in a few years and drop him like a sack of apples will have a name. Its name will be Daily Stand-Up Meeting. In the afternoon, Sarah hits me up about an SEO issue. From the brief interactions I've had with her, I can tell she's attracted to power. Probably has a fantasy of marrying a lawyer and moving into politics. We don't chat enough, I tell her as we hammer through a new directive to better address the concern. I continue, I don't even know your favorite color. What does that have to do with anything, she asks. What's your favorite color? Asian chicks. Don't say that I'm joking. What I mean is, I type, you should come out with us after work. There's a group of us, a type of network. I'm surprised we haven't asked you to come with us sooner. I don't actually emphasize the we and you exchange of what I message her, but I want you to understand what I'm doing here. It's an NLP trick with a slight neg. I let her hem and haw on a few exchanges, but I don't really care what she's saying. I DV by casually dropping how I met my dentist and lawyer during these outings, and then I change the subject, because I don't really care if she comes. 2 hours later, we're still back and forth. I start a chain email to see where people want to head post-work. At the whiskey bar, I try to convince the others to warm up with Applejack, but everyone wants to order an old-fashioned so they can sound like they know what they're talking about. Steve drops a shot of Jack into his pale ale with marked emphasis, and then waves his hand over the top like he's about to reveal a rabbit in a hat. Yes, Steve, I've had that before. I lean against the brass rail that lines the wooden bar top. Let me tell you about why I like this whiskey bar. This bar is 3 years old, but from the moment you walk in, you immediately think of Paris in the 20s or Buenos Aires pre-yellow fever. The interior design captures the height of Baroque fashion. You either sit at the bar, crowd one of the high-back booths, or stand like an asshole. Our group immediately commandeered the largest booth, and I made a point to press in tightly next to Sarah. I asked her about her role in the office under the pretense of becoming better acquainted with her department. Mostly I'm watching her lips form words. It's not that I don't give a shit what she says, it's more that I'm intensely drawn to the red of her lips. Before Sarah, I had assumed that women only use this colored lipstick to write passionate messages on mirrors. A little to my left, Claire keeps trying to interject into our conversation. I say to Claire, yeah, it's a little different than that. I then go to elucidate the differences between departmental roles. Sarah nods her head to confirm my understanding. I tell a quick anecdote from a barbershop to catapult Sarah and me into a different conversation. Later, when I make eye contact with Claire, she looks like she wants to stab me. When I wake in the morning, I open my eyes slightly and slowly. The sun pounds in through the blinds in a raging fit of light and life. Even on days when it feels like my eyes might have been rubber cement glued together while I slept, the sun will continue to shine. Even if my stomach feels like I ate half a pound of sink sponges, or my head feels gummy like a kneaded eraser, if I wake with a bark bucket next to my bed, with my room light still turned on, with my laptop open and hibernating across my legs, with my television still on, and my streaming Netflix asking me if I would like to continue playing the episode of House of Cards, if I'm still wearing my raw denim jeans and colored shirt, fully buttoned, if I still have one shoe on, even then the sun will continue to shine. In the bathroom, I brush my teeth with deliberate strokes in 3 strategic patterns of attack, up and down, side to side, and in little circular swipes. Sometimes my mind wanders while I'm brushing and I forget which methods I've already executed. In the name of thoroughness, I go back through them one more time because you can't really be too careful when it comes to teeth. You only get one set of adult teeth, and once they're gone. I scan my phone while I walk to work for any new emails or text messages. Occasionally, the morning glare can make the screen hard to read, or I will accidentally press the wrong buttons with sloppy thumbs. Steve has emailed me. It's not as if I have a grand delusion about the import of our work. This wasn't what we envisioned doing while in kindergarten. The monotony of our days can be so acutely painful. I hanker for an opportunity to disrupt the repetition. Last year, Steve's mother passed away. I know this because she had worked for our company as the internal resource manager. She was the little overweight lady you went to when your stapler broke or you wanted an ergonomic keyboard. Steve didn't still live with his mother at this time. I'm pretty sure Steve didn't still live with his mother. In the afternoon, Sarah sends me a message that we need to drive down the coast this weekend. She knows this beach town with a famous secret Mexican restaurant. The spot is so exclusive she won't even tell me the name of the town. Her instant messages use the descriptors hidden gem and Maria Shriver favorite. I send a message to Claire telling her that I'm trying a new cologne that features leather, mint, and musk notes, but tastes like cinnamon when you lick it. In my other window, Sarah tells me that you can wear casual stuff like linen suits, but go barefoot on the boardwalk. It occurs to me that Allison should be back from her trip to DC. I draft her a quick email to see if she's coming into work today. It's not too far from that country club everyone wants to get invited to play at, Sarah writes. Hardly a skip. I start a chain email to propose where the crew should drink post-work. At the dive bar, everyone takes deep pulls from heavy glass steins. We drink the light beer with vigor and force to chase the whiskey and kamikaze shots. Steve sits in front of the bar trivia screen, feeding it dollar bills. Sarah tries to get me to leave the bar so we can make our way to the new tapas restaurant up the street. She leans into my ear and whispers seductively, "They serve Pakistani fusion." I tell her that sounds fabulous, but I want to play one game of pool first. I hand her a quarter to go and save the place at the table. With Sarah gone, I wave over the bartender Molly and make a point to avoid her flaunted cleavage. I tell her new haircut makes her face look round. She flips me off but pours me a free shot of Jameson. She slides it in front of me, but then pulls it away when I reach for it. I look up at her and she laughs and purses her lips. She leaves me the shot and a long glance as she walks down the length of the bar. This is how I know I'm truly still alive. Thank you.